Hello, this is Erin with the Joy in Pens and Paper, and it is time for the 36th Three Inks Thursday. I just want to point out I have this everyday notebook by Galen Leather that I have had for over 2 years now, and look how fluffy that is, and I have this much left. So I'm going to stick to using this side of the notebook because that is just too much to write with. In a Three Inks Thursday video, what I do, but you join, is swatch 3 different inks on 3 different papers and then use 3 different size nibs to see what those inks look like in writing. The 3 papers that I'm going to be using, as you can see right here, are Bank Paper, Cosmo, Air Light, and Tomoe River. I did confirm that I got these 2 papers in the right place. I mixed them up last week. Apologies. And I will be continuing to use the TWSBI Go pens. I have a fine, medium, and stub nib. And because it's the same brand, it seems like for me, this is the pen that I have 3 of them with 3 different size nibs. So it makes sense to do my swatching with those. I will also be using a Kakimori Brass Nib dip pen to do some swatches on each of the papers. And I have a white t-shirt to dry off my tools. I have a mason jar with water. And for today, the 3 inks are, first of all, day 3 of the Ink Fan calendar, which is Noble Fir. And then I selected 2 inks from my collection that I think may be generally similar. So I think that, or the 2 inks that I selected are Pilot Iroshizuku Zero, which actually now I'm wondering, did I grab the right one? I know it's in the Iroshizuku ink. I did not. I did in fact grab the wrong one. The one I wanted was Pilot Iroshizuku Shin Ryoku and Diatramentis Green Tomato. Let me just double check because I'm pretty sure that is exactly the one. Yes, that is. Okay, now that I have my act together, let's get into the swatching. I am going to do the Diamine Inkvent ink in the middle, and so I think I'm going to do Green Tomato on top and then Noble Fir, which is a Star Bright, so that is a very high amount of shimmer. Look at it all there on the bottom. And then I will end it with Shin Ryoku. All right, I love these little glass bottles. This is an ink shared with me from Fountain Pen Insanity. I actually just did a swatching video. Although this was shared back in November, but I was very content heavy in December, so I did not get around to swatching this. There's only so much I can do. Okay, so we're going to start with the fine, and we're going to write the name of the ink brand. Hopefully that was enough ink. That is the medium. Take 2. There's the fine. Doing a lot of takes on this one, huh? All right, so D. Atramentis. Green Tomato. I love the name of this ink. It makes me think immediately of the movie Fried Green Tomatoes, which bit of an intense movie if you haven't seen it. It may evoke some big emotions. And then with the stub nib, I just work on some lettering. So I do some capital and some lowercase. All right, hopefully I'm in the groove now. Next up, we will do the Day 3 Diamine Inkvent ink, Noble Fur. And I think when I originally opened this up, I thought it said hello, not noble. Just pointing out my little silliness there. So this has a little bit more of a bright green to it. And then I'm not going to re-agitate because there's so much shimmer in this ink. Noble Fur. That is the stub nib. And I mix these up again. I need to organize off to the side here. Wow, a little bit of a hot mess today, huh? All right, I'm placing them down in the right spot. Okay, now they're organized how they should be. And last is Pilot Iroshizuku Shin Ryoku. Now, this is a little on the blue-green side, and I will talk about, right, is that the one that I wanted? Yes. Yes, this has a little bit of a blue lean to it. But as it dries, I feel like it dries a little bit more green. Beautiful. Yeah, that dried down just how I wanted it to. So I will kind of start off first and foremost with the ink that I really wanted to compare Noble Fur to was Van Diemen's Elegant Peacock Train, but I have used that up. So I no longer have that in my collection. It was a sample from an Ink Flight, which is the Ink Journal subscription, and they do give you a small sample size. So I did use that one up. And then I did have a few other greens, but I felt that they were perhaps better matches for the green that's later on in the Diamine Inkvent calendar. So let's talk about this. Now, looking at the three different papers, I will again reiterate from my eye, the ink is a little bit I want to say flatter on the paper for Cosmo Air Light. It seems to sit on top of the paper, therefore it's less streaky. It's a little bit more uniform of a color. And you definitely see that in the Green Tomato and Shin Ryoku. The Shin Ryoku looks like it's getting a little bit of a sheen right along the edge here, maybe a red sheen. So that'll be interesting to keep watching. The Green Tomato by Diatramentis looks like the same color on all three papers. I think if I were to be a little Goldilocks, this one is too streaky, this one is too flat, and this one is just right. That's my opinion. Noble Fur, I think because of the shimmer, it looks pretty close to the same on all three papers. Perhaps the base color is a little bit darker on bank paper. There's a bit of a fingerprint here, so you're seeing a little bit of a lighter color where the ink is pulling away or not drying down into the oils from my fingers. And it's a similar base color to the Tomoe River. Now looking at the Shin Ryoku, I do think it looks like three different colors. Not substantially different colors, but I do think it looks like three different colors. And you've got the light, the medium, and the dark. On the Cosmo Air Light, you're getting the blue coming through much more prominently than on the bank paper, and it's kind of a good mix in the middle on Tomoe River. I do often point out that a lot of my decisions are made based on the swatch samples in a Waringal swatch book, and it does not specify the type of paper. And the whole purpose of this is to look at how ink behaves on different types of paper. So here is a great example. The Shin Ryoku, which is towards the back here for me, is right here. And if I were to compare this to the three swatches, I would say it looks closest to the bank paper, actually. But when I was comparing this to the Diamine Inkvent Noble Fur, it was a very similar base color, which is why I pulled this one out as a comparison. Now looking at the three, Green Tomato is much more of a muted green versus Noble Fur is bright, and I would say Shin Ryoku is bright slash dark. Yeah, so that is the 36th Three Inks Thursday, and there is definitely a sheen coming through, and it's not quite red. It's almost a orange bronze color sheen, which is really interesting. I like it. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. I hope that you found this interesting. And for those of you that have the Diamine Inkvent, I am interested, do you have any of these greens to compare to, or do you have other greens in your collections that you would say is similar? And for those of you that don't have the Diamine Inkvent, is this a color that you might consider adding to your collection? It is quite shimmery. I have not inked this up in a pen yet, so I would not be able to speak to how it behaves, but at some point I will. All right. Thank you for the time that you spent with me today. I appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one. Bye.